christened that by my mother, but it's kind of stuck in as a name that grabs a bit more attention when you're a performance poet, I suppose. I'm a punk poet from Bolton, and tonight's theme, poetry is misunderstood. I think there's a lot of people that still think poetry has got to be like Shakespeare and Byron and all that kind of thing that I just don't understand. Well, what I'm going to do is probably nothing like that. So I hope you understand it. Is anyone feeling unlucky? This is the first poem I wrote this year, and I used the title of the poem to coincide with the number of the year. It's called 2013, Unlucky for Some. The end of the world, December 12, said some, but just another year poorer as a new one's begun. 2013, unlucky for some. Well, Happy New Year, but there's no time for fun. Just no more jobs, no hope, nothing to be done. 2013, unlucky for some. Another famine looming. When's help gonna come? Starving and dying in the midday sun. 2013, unlucky for some. Syrian terror down the barrel of a gun. Tanks fast approaching, nowhere to run. 2013, unlucky for some. Dad sells Afghan bride for a measly £2,000 sum. But she's only 6 and no choice for her mum. 2013, unlucky for some. I don't see much hope. Appreciate that. I don't see much hope, but there has to be some. The hopeless pray for their time to come. 2013, unlucky for some. Or don't let the bastards grind you down. Make sure you're not the one, because 2013 could be unlucky for some. Thank you. I'd like to just give a quick tribute. This is a poem that I wrote after a particularly dark time in my life, too much drinking and all that before I started all this writing stuff. And this is about this, and it's a tribute to a kind of friend that I don't know from Bolton who's just decided things were too much. A gentleman called Chris Evans, a fantastic guitarist, performer, singer, and this is for him. And maybe you'll identify with it. It's called Ever Get That Feeling? Ever get that feeling that you're struggling, just like you're pushing water uphill? Ever get that feeling that you're never really full, even though you've had your fill? Ever get that feeling that you're always on the set list, but you never quite fit the bill? Ever get that feeling that you might just not cope, but deep down you're praying that you will? Ever get that feeling that you're not very well, but on the outside you don't look ill? Ever get that feeling? Yeah, did you ever get that feeling? Thank you. It's from a book from myself and my good friend here, Mr. Andy, and we do a poetry and music band with a bit of guitar and that kind of thing. It kind of makes it a bit more interesting, so if you ever want a bit of cabaret, just give us a shout. We're called A Means to an End, and we've got a couple of these books if you want some. And I'm just going to do a couple of... I've actually changed what I was going to do because of what Lee said. So I'm going to finish on a bit of a high note. But a couple of new-ish poems. I've got a new book, or a book, my first book coming out soon. I'm just deciding what to put in it. I don't think this one will be in, but this I've written for my girlfriend Tracy's son, Jamie McIntyre, a fantastic artist. And this was about one of his paintings. If you know Stockport, this is about the area and the whole of Underbank. Shadows cast by the sun as the old clock strikes 1, hiding what memories remain now the hatters have gone. They're just ghosts in the hats of the aristocrats who still live in the time when the streets teem with rats. They peek through the eaves in their frilly white sleeves, haunted by the lives they could never leave. Oh, those times of old, coloured bronze and gold, laughing at stories that their ancestors told. And in the Queens they recall, under the bridge so tall, those Tudor days of the Underbank Hall. Now a mum heads off home, and her kids start to sing to the sound of the winter's bell in the wind you can hear it ring. Thank you. This one I might stick in the boot. It's one that from Andy's writing group with Amanda, Writers of the Third Kind. This was the thing that they said, you had to write something about a brief encounter. So this is called just Brief Encounter. Exhausted, I sat waiting for a train, gazing aimlessly into thin air, as you do. I could hear the rumble in the distance, ground vibrating as it got nearer. Finally, it's in sight. As usual, it pulls up real slow. Not even sure if it's my train. Then an apparition. Was I seeing things? I rubbed my eyes. Was it really her? I knew her from years ago. Not an old flame as such, but not through lack of trying. Gorgeous, she took my breath away. She'd make anyone look twice. In my case, I'd lost count. I couldn't believe it. Another chance. After all this time, had fate dealt me another shot? Maybe, I'll never know. As the train coasted past the station, I realised I wasn't at the scheduled stop. Thank you. Cheers. I'm just going to finish one. I've changed what I was going to do, and I felt for Lee when he was talking about his effort at talking about breasts with the getting female audience. I must admit, ladies, before you beat me up, this is meant in the best possible intention. But it's a poem about the scandal of implants and people not being able to get help and going dodgy and all that kind of thing. So it is meant in the best possible taste, and it become more pertinent, I suppose, with Ruth's little story. So this is for you, Lee. It's called Real Breast is Best. Well, John Cooper Clarke did once confess, you'll never see a nipple in the Daily Express. Now it's probably as common as a man in a dress, but there's bad news for women with implants in their breasts. You see, they might just burst and cause a silicone mess, and there's no support for boob patients, especially on the NHS. No hundreds join the queues for MOTs on their chests. But in my opinion, don't do it. Only real breasts pass the test. You see, in all my years of experience, not that I'm obsessed,
much,
maybe a little bit.
Much.
You should be proud of your boobs, because I am always impressed. No size discrimination on my part. The answer is always yes. In my opinion, stick with what you've got. Only real breasts pass the test. Thank you. Jeffarama, thanks for listening. By the way, we're running open mic night.